Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communications, and how to build strong family relationships, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're going to be talking about what to do when they aren't getting it. What in the world does it mean getting it? Well, when a person, even though you're trying to tell them to do something, they just can't get it. They don't understand it. They're frustrated with it. They can't seem to follow through with what it is that you are trying to help them with. Well, I've made mistakes there, so I can tell you what not to do, and I can tell you what works as well, and how I learned it. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So my parents really believed in making their children well-rounded, giving them opportunities to do sports and arts and music and all kinds of things so that we were able to sample the world. And I'm so grateful that they did that. Well, one thing they were not going to bend on was that all of us would learn how to play piano. So I had piano lessons, and I had them from my grandmother. And that was probably one of the reasons we all got the opportunity to learn piano, because Grandma would give her grandchildren piano lessons for free. So she was quite renowned, and the opportunity to learn piano from such a master at the instrument for free, I'm sure, was something that my parents could not pass by. Plus, they wanted us to be musically literate. So anyway, I took lessons from Grandma, and I have to say I probably was a disappointment to Grandma on a regular basis. And I think that my mom recognized I was probably a disappointment to Grandma on a regular basis, and Grandma was my dad's mom, not my mom's mom. So my mom probably felt a little bit of that pressure of like, my mother-in-law is teaching my children, and my children are not practicing well, and they're not excelling or advancing, and this is going to look bad for me and the whole family. And I'm sure Grandma probably wasn't judging. I'm not really sure, but I'm pretty sure that my mom would have been processing it like that. And so the pressure came on, right? The pressure came on us. You got to practice this much time. Stop doing that. And I remember sitting at the piano and and I was like, oh, it's going to take so long. And as soon as you go to a place of stress and worry and frustration, you go to midbrain, all right? So front brain is where we do all of our problem solving. And this is where it's going to help me play the piano, is in front brain. But as soon as I start not wanting to play the piano and thinking bad thoughts about the piano and how long it's going to take, then I go to midbrain. And then when I'm in midbrain, I have a hard time reading the notes because I'm in the wrong part of my brain, you see. So I remember being in midbrain, not knowing I was in midbrain, but I was, and looking at the notes on the page and going, what is that note? I don't know. Because it's like a new language, right? Reading notes. And I'd be like, I don't know that note. And my mom would say, how come you're just sitting there and not doing anything, which is adding more pressure, which pushed me further and further back in the brain. And I'm like, I don't know the note. And I would be like, just tell me the note. And she would say, just do the little rhyme. You can figure it out. All cows eat grass. Great big dogs fight animals. Just do the little rhyme, the poem thing. And I would say, I did, and I can't figure it out, because I literally couldn't think, because I was at a stressed out place in my brain, and I couldn't think. And so then I started to melt down. So I'm going further and further back brain. Soon I'm pounding on the piano. I don't want to be doing this. Now I really can't think at all. And my mother would come in and say, you need to stop that and start playing right now. I would look at the piano and I would sit there, and she's like, don't just sit there. You need to actually play that stuff. Well, at that point, she doesn't understand what's happening with my brain. I don't even know what's happening with my brain. But all I know is that for real, I cannot play the piano right now. I can't. I was not getting it, okay? And she was probably wondering why, after all these lessons, after so many years of practicing, why does she not know the note now? How come she's not getting it right now? But she didn't understand stress and how it works in the brain and what was happening to me. So she got emotional and power struggled. I've done the same thing before. And I can tell you that is not the way to handle the not getting it problem. In fact, it just makes it worse. So we're going to talk about what to do instead so that the anxiety level in your child's brain can decrease. They can come into the prefrontal cortex and actually start getting it again. But before we do that, click the subscribe button now. This channel has tons of videos on it that are dedicated to helping you and your family get along better, solve your problems, and increase in that personal empowerment that you're hoping to feel when you're at home, bonding and connecting with each other. So click on subscribe now. You won't regret it. So what do you do instead? For the longest time, I didn't know. I knew I didn't want to nag. I knew I didn't want to power struggle. But I didn't know exactly what to do to help their brains come into focus. And the answer was easier than I thought. And the way I learned it is what reminds me of the difference with the piano from my youth and what my children experienced in their piano practicing. So there was a time when I put pressure on my children to accomplish on their instruments. I mean, not as much as my mom did, but there was a time where I was like, no, practice. Oh, put in this much time. You have this much time left. And I started saying, well, just look at the little rhyme and I'm sure you can find the notes on the piano. Just find it. Just say it to yourself. The same words that my mother was saying to me, because I thought they have to figure it out or they'll never remember it. What I didn't factor in is they can't figure it out right now because their brain is not in the right place. So one day I was at a music lesson with my children. So I liked to go to the music lessons to see what they should be doing and where they were at with the teacher. It was super helpful. Well, I sat there at the music lesson with the teacher and I saw my child, who hadn't practiced very well on a certain piece or felt like he wasn't getting it very well, sit down with the piece and immediately feel nervous. I saw the nerves set in and I thought, oh, I know what that feels like when you know you want to do better for the teacher, but you just know it's not going to be very great. And he started in on it and then he paused and I thought, oh, he's stuck. He stopped looking at the notes. He stopped reading it. He doesn't know what the note is. He's got to find it first. I'm like, I know what he's doing because I've done it, right? And then he paused for a moment. The teacher gave him a couple of moments to look at it. And he's like, oh, it's a B. And he just reached over on the piano and he touched the B. It's this one right here. He touched the B. And then I saw my child just say, oh, okay. And then touch the B and then keep going. Then he paused again. Same thing happened again. And he's like, oh, it's this one. It's a G. He's like, oh, okay. And he just went again. And I saw my child go from anxiety probably because I told him, you don't want your teacher, Larry G, to see that you didn't practice good or you don't have it good, right? You know, I probably told him the wrong thing. Okay. Then when he sat down, those words were with him and he increased his stress. But Larry just took away the stress by just touching the note. He just showed him what it was. Pushed it. Anxiety gone. Stress gone. Front brain. Here we go. Did Larry understand that he was helping my child get into the right place of their brain? Probably not. He just knew that if you make the child sit there too long, it gets worse. So you just tell them, and you know what? The child just excels and they move forward. And you trust that no big deal. They can get this, especially if I show them right where it is. They can get this. I love my mother so much. She taught me so many great things, but I wish on piano that she would have just come in and touched the note for me so many times so that I could have just kept going and not gone to that stressful place in my brain. So I now apply this principle in everything. When I'm working with someone, instead of saying, figure it out, like a lot of people do, instead I just say, oh, this is it. Or if my child is just about to go out of control, I say okay. Think about that calm face. I just tell them exactly what to do instead of emotionally reacting to what's going to come next. This helps the child get it. So no matter if your child is not getting it with homework, or if your child is not getting it with a musical instrument, or maybe if they're not getting it with you when you're trying to communicate with them and solve a problem with them, you can just tell them what to do, what to say. You can say, oh, the answer of that problem is this, and this is how I know it. So then next time they'll remember your story of saying it's this, and this is how I know it. And when they see that problem, they'll be able to answer it themselves more likely. It takes a lot of repetition to learn, and our children do get repetition repetitious learning from us. But if they constantly get anxiety from us and stress from us because we are throwing them into isolation every time they have a problem, that actually hurts them. True, children should learn how to solve problems. We can help them through that. I actually have a whole problem-solving exercise that I teach in my course, my TSG parenting course, which is on teachingselfgovernment.com, and it's called SODAs. It's a problem-solving exercise that helps develop that prefrontal cortex. So we definitely want to work on helping them learn their problem-solving and learning cause and effect, and I'm really dedicated about that. But if there's one thing I know, that sometimes in the moment, the most merciful thing you can do to help your child is just tell them what to say to you, or just to tell them what to focus on, or tell them what note to push. And when you do that, it lets them know that you really understand. It bonds them to you, and it helps them remember more than if they had to try to sort it all out for themselves. If this video has been helpful to you, then I'm pretty sure you will like my next video, which is called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success. That video is a full class that I'm offering here on the channel to help people learn some of the nuts and bolts of the teaching self-government way of parenting. So be sure to click on The Not So Known Secret to Parenting Success today.